Budapest is in revolt. With uncontrolled fury, crowds set fire to Russian flags and put Soviet books to the torch. The Red Star is sent tumbling into the gutter. Word comes of shooting on the other side of the city, and the rebels, armed now, run to the scene. A quiet park has become a no man's land. Our cameraman is caught in the crossfire as rebel sharpshooters advancing across the square attack the headquarters of the Soviet-controlled secret police. The Hungarian patriots refuse to give ground before the withering fire from the building. They are showing the world that freedom is worth dying for.
There was never a more prominent display of a country's resolve for freedom than in 1956 Hungary. Hungary and its citizens would be profoundly impacted by their inherent desire for freedom and the consequences they paid for this desire. The atrocities derived from this revolution culminated in executions of several hundred Hungarian citizens and other significant Hungarian figures.
By October 23, 1956, Hungary was a prominent example of the stern authoritarian government established by the communist leadership and led by Matthias Rákosi. In fact, under Rákosi, the Hungarian government was among the most oppressive. The state security police forcibly relocated thousands of people to acquire property and accommodation for the Working People's Party members. More than 26,000 people were forcibly removed from Budapest in 1 year. They were arrested, tortured, tried, imprisoned in concentration camps, and executed. The deportees suffered horrifying living conditions and were often used as slave labor on farms. These conditions killed many Hungarians. In Budapest, jobs and housing were increasingly hard to find, and the Hungarian economy experienced a multitude of tribulations. Hungary agreed to pay $300 million to several countries for war reparations, and the Hungarian currency experienced a profound depreciation. These policies culminated in an outcry from Hungarians.
2 hét múlva jött Mikoyan, az őrmény.
Mikoyan, the Armenian wheeler dealer, arrived.
Rákosival mentünk ki Rákosért.
Rákosi and I went to meet him at the airport and took him back by car.
És hoztuk be Mikoyan. Már majdnem beértünk.
We were almost at the guest house when Mikoyan turned to Rákosi and said, "The Soviet leadership has decided you are ill."
Úgy döntött, hogy maga beteg.
Well, Rákosi didn't think he was ill. But of course in those days, illness was a political decision. Mikoyan continued, "You will need treatment in Moscow, so you will have to resign."
The Soviets allowed András Hegedűs to remain prime minister. But reformers in the Hungarian Communist Party sought a leader more independent from Moscow. They wanted Imre Nagy to take over. Like Gomulka in Poland, Nagy was seen as a leader who would reform the party.
The revolution had been predicated by political repression and economic decline. On the 23rd of October, 1956, 20,000 protesters marched through the streets of Budapest. The protesters included students and workers, and they demanded freedom of speech, the disbanding of the secret police, and the removal of Soviet troops. The jubilant crowd waved the Hungarian flag proudly, displaying the communist coat of arms cut out of their flag, and portraits of Imre Nagy, a leader that could reform the party. 200,000 protesters soon gathered around the parliament building, but remained peaceful. By 9:30, the provoked crowd, stirred by their passion for change, toppled Stalin's 30-foot high statue. Protesters also congregated outside the Radio Budapest building, which was heavily guarded by the state security police. After the protesters attempted to broadcast their demands, the state security police fired upon the crowd, which killed many. Protesters reacted aggressively. Police cars were set on fire, guns were seized, and communist symbols were...
I don't know how the guns work, but one older man, his name was Pista bácsi, he says, "Don't worry about it, I'm gonna teach you." And then I looked at the gun was bigger than me. They explained to me and showed me a couple of times. And the very first time I had to use it, I closed my eyes because, you know, for scared. I never used gun before.